Welcome to Department of Collegiate and Technical Education for the subject Metal Casting and Welding session 5, Module 2, Melting and Metal Mold Casting Methods. Myself Muniraj UK, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Government Engineering College, Ramnagara. Course objectives here to understand the principles involved in different types of melting furnaces. Contains electric arc furnace, Apollo furnace, and zones in Apollo. Electric arc furnace. It's a versatile furnace used to melt mainly steel. It makes use of electric current to generate the arc in the metal. The arc heats and melts the charge. Melting using electricity as a source of energy is more common. This is because electric furnace provides more flexibility and cleanliness in operation. These are suitable for production of high quality of steels. There are two types of electric furnaces: direct arc furnace, indirect arc furnace. First one is direct arc furnace. Second one is indirect arc furnace. We'll take up direct arc furnace. You can see the diagram. Direct arc furnace diagram. Magnetic brick bedding is there. Rammed bottom hearth is there. Slag door is there. Magnetic brick is here. 3 graphite electrodes are there. You can lift and down. You can raise and down these electrodes. Steel shell roof is there. 3 holes are provided to insert the graphite electrodes, and pouring spot is there. So these are the molten metal pool is there. These are the construction features of the direct arc furnace. It consists of a steel shell. You can see the steel shell, a cylindrical in shape with spherical or flat base, which is mounted on a roller to enable tilting the furnace to tap out the molten metal. That means we can tilt the furnace to pour and clean the molten metal and clean the furnace. And tilting action is there. The shell is lined with 5 bricks. Shell is lined with 5 bricks. The roof is made up of silica bricks. The hearth is lined with basic materials such as magnesite bricks. The charging may be done either from the top or from the side. Charging can be done either top or side. The top charging type of roof can be swung along with electrodes. While side charging type, the side door is provided. A tapping hole with spout is provided to tap out molten metal. Generally, 3 electrodes are arranged in triangular pattern. These electrodes can be raised or lowered by mechanical or other automatic means, as I told earlier on telling construction features. This helps in setting the arc and to maintain the desired temperature. The electric current, especially 3-phase, is led into the furnace through the 3 carbon or graphite electrodes. The arc is struck between the electrodes and the charge. The arc gives out high temperature. The arc produces high temperature, about 2000 to 5000 centigrade, which melts the charge below the electrodes. Gradually, a pool of molten metal forms below the electrodes, which in turn melts the remaining metal in the furnace. The electrodes should have high electrical and low thermal conductivity. Electrodes should have high electrical and low thermal conductivity, good refractoriness and resistance to oxidation or chemical reaction. Also should have good strength at high temperature. Usually graphite or amorphous carbon is used as a electrode material. Then excess slag is removed from the slag door. The molten metal is then tapped into the ladle and taken for steaming. This is a direct arc furnace. Next is indirect arc furnace. The figure shows an indirect arc electric furnace used for melting small quantities of ferrous and non-ferrous metal. The furnace consists of cylindrical or barrel-shaped cell lined with refractory material. The shell is mounted on the roller and can be tilted through 180 degree. Shell is can tilt at 180 degree. This facilitates for easy pouring and for cleaning also. Also, the rollers provides rocking action to furnace that speeds the melting rate. So here the rollers provides rocking action. Two carbon electrodes are mounted along with horizontal axis. Two carbon electrodes are mounted along horizontal axis and can be automatically adjusted for maintaining proper arc column. A charging door and pouring spout serves their purpose. So this is the construction indirect type of electric furnace construction. The shell is there, you can tilt 180 degree, refractory lining is there, union the support is there, rollers are there, function rollers provide rocking action for the furnace to speed up the melting rate. Rollers are there. Power light is there to supply the power. Carbon electrode, you can see the carbon electrodes. The ignite steel scrap and alloy metals fluxing agents are charged into the furnace. On supplying necessary current and voltage, an arc is struck between two non-consumable carbon electrodes. The electrodes are brought closer together and maintained so that the arc remains between them. The charge melts by radiation from the heat produced by the arc and also by conduction from the heat absorbed by the refractory lining. Once the metal melts, the furnace is rotated. This helps the refractory lining to get heated up and also the molten metal exposed to a larger area of heated lining. Rocking stirs the molten metal homogeneously. Rocking action stirs the molten metal homogeneously. When the liquid metal reaches the desired temperature and the liquid metal is converted into molten metal, means the furnace is tilted mechanically and the metal is tapped into the ladles and poured into the molds. This is the indirect type furnace. Next furnace is Kofola furnace. This is important furnace for examination. Construction feature. You can see the diagram. Drop bottom is there. Drop legs is there. Supporting units legs. Sand bottom is there. Slag bottom is there. Tuyers are there. I'll tell you the function of tuyers. Air blast inlet is there, supplying for air. Air box is there, refractory lining is there, shell is there, charging door, spark arrestor, So these are all the construction features. Here well zone is there, preheating zone, stretch zone, reducing zone, melting zone, combustion zone, tapping hole. So this is the construction feature of Apollo furnace. This is construction of Apollo furnace. So we'll take up Apollo furnace. Apollo is a vertical cylindrical shape type furnace. It is a vertical cylindrical shape type furnace. It works on the counter current principle. It works on the counter current principle. Charge material will be descends downwards. Flue gases will be ascends upwards. Charge material will come downwards and flue gases, hot gases will move upwards. Thereby exchange of heat between the rising gases and the descending charge takes place efficiently. Coke lumps are used as a fuel. Limestone is used as a flex material. Coke is used as a fuel for heat generation. Limestone is used as a flex material. Coke, limestone, and the metal charge are charged into the Apollo in the same sequence with a definite ratio. It consists of a cylindrical shell of large h by d, that is height to diameter ratio, supported on legs at the bottom. It has two semicircular steel doors hinged at the bottom, and it can open or closed as required. The inside the shell is lined with fire clay refractory bricks for heat absorption. The entire structure is placed vertical on a rigid concrete base. When the doors are closed and clamped, the furnace bottom is prepared by ramming sand mixed with fire clay on the top of the door. Immediately above this, an opening is provided on the circumference of the shell and is called metal hole. It's called metal hole. A small channel is provided corresponding to this using steel plate, and a refractory material is called metal spout. A small channel is provided corresponding to this using steel plate and refractory material, that is called metal spout. Through this spout, molten metal is drawn from the furnace. Through the metal spout, you're going to draw the molten metal. After solid metal is converted into molten state, you're going to draw the molten metal drawing unit is metal spout. Opposite to the metal spout, another hole is provided in the shell to tap the slag. For slag removal, opposite to the metal spout, another hole is provided, slag hole. It's called slag hole to remove the or to withdraw the slag. Slightly above this, wind box is provided around the shell. Number of holes are provided in the steel shell covered with wind box. These are all called toyers. These are all called toyers. Wind box is connected to the blower through which air is made to enter. This blast of air enters inside the inside portion of the lined shell radially inward. This air provides necessary oxygen for combustion process. Far above the wind box, a charging platform is provided to facilitate strong charges and movement of operators. Close to the platform, a charging door is provided with hood or spark arrestor. This ensures arresting of sparks emanating from the or eliminating from the furnace. This facilitates easy operation and reduce projection of furnace above the ground. A pit of 3 to 4 feet dug below the ground to house the furnace. The height of the coke inside the cupola from the bottom and the top to the wind box is referred as a coke bed height. The height of the coke inside the cupola from the bottom and up to the wind box is referred as a coke bed height. Starting of the cupola. Before starting the cupola, the bottom door are closed and locked. On this door, sand bed is prepared and the metal spout is closed with the clay slug. Burning wood splinters are dropped from the door of the furnace. Slowly, wood pieces start burning. It starts the burning, and some more wooden pieces are dropped. When this catches the fire, coke pieces are dropped from the top. The coke pieces slowly catches the fire and ignites and become a red hot. Charging the cupola. Now coke lumps are dropped continuously into the furnace up to the wind box level. Wind blast is slowly turned and supplying air for combustion. This results in the burning of coke pieces continuously. Now alternative layer of coke, flux and metal charges are dumped inside the furnace till inside portion of the furnace is filled up with charge door. Blast of air is increased and kept at maximum. The air enters the furnace through the tuyers. Air enters through the tuyers. Tuyers are connected to the wind box. Coke not only acts as a fuel but also acts as a burden until melting occurs. Limestone acts as a flux and protects the metal against the excessive oxidation. Melting. As the temperature inside the furnace reach very high value, the coke burns off. Limestone fuses and metal charge melts and the trickles of liquid metal starts dropping down to the bottom of the furnace. Molten metal collects at the bottom and accumulates. The external charging of furnace is continued. Just above the tuyers in the wind box, maximum temperature is attained and this zone is referred as superheating zone. Here molten metal is heated to above its melting point. Hence it is referred as superheat. Above this zone, actual melting of metal takes place. This zone is called melting zone. This zone is approximately 2 times that of superheat zone. Above this zone, up to the charging door, preheating zone. Here the metal charge, lime and coke will be preheated. Above the door, up to the hood region is stack zone. Only few gases escape through this zone. It's a vent for escaping flue gases. As the cold charge are moving downward, the hot flue gases will be ascending. This results very good heat exchange between the two. Charge gain heat and flue gases loses heat. This phenomena is referred as a counter current principle. This phenomena is referred as a counter current principle. The charging of cupola is continued and the molten metal gets accumulated and the slag formed also accumulates above the molten metal due to density difference. Tapping the slag and molten metal. The slag door is kept open always. From the slag level inside the furnace reaches the slag spout. The slag starts coming out continuously. This is the indication that molten metal is ready for tapping. This should happen at around 15 minutes after the full blast of air into the furnace. The bottle green color of slag also suggests that molten metal quality is good. Now the metal spout is opened. Molten metal is tapped into the ladle and collected. The furnace operation is continued and the molten metal is continuously tapped. The furnace is stopped by stopping the charging. Furnace stopping can done by stopping the charging, supplying the charging. Next, dropping down the bottom. After tapping the molten metal completely from the furnace, the bottom doors are dropped down. The slag drops out of the furnace. After cooling, necessary patchwork of lining is done before the next melting operation. The ratio of coke metal is referred as a coke to metal ratio. For the good coke, it should be anywhere between 1:8 to 1:10 by weight. The percentage of limestone is around 5 to 7% of metal charge. Inside liner diameter of cupola determines the melting capacity of cupola. It may vary from approximately 68 to 275 centimeter. Cupola is specified by quantity of molten metal that can be melt per hour. Example, 10 tons per hour means 10 tons of cast iron is melted in 1 hour. Cupola is used to produce cast iron. Exclusively, it is used to produce cast iron. Cupola is most popular and widely used furnace in foundry for producing cast iron. Next, the zones in cupola. The height of the furnace can be divided into various zones for study purpose and observe how the melting process is taking place. First one is well zone. It is a portion situated between the rammed sand bottom and just below the bottom edge of the tuyeres. Molten metal is occupied in this zone. The diagram, tuyeres is there, sand bottom is there, well zone is the well zone. Combustion zone. The combustion zone or oxidizing zone is situated from the bottom edge of the tuyeres. And this zone where rapid combustion takes place, due to which a lot of heat is generated in the furnace. The temperature of this zone varies from 1550 degree to 1850 degrees centigrade. So it is above the well zone, above the well zone. This combustion zone. This is the combustion zone. Reduction zone or protection zone is the portion located at the top of the combustion zone to the top of the coke bed. This zone, some of hot CO2 gas moving upward through the hot coke gets reduced to CO. In other words, reduction of CO2 to CO occurs in this zone. Due to reduction, the temperature reduces to around 1200 degrees centigrade in this zone. Here, exchange of heat from hot gases to charge will take place. Preheating zone, the portion occupied from top surface of the melting zone to the charging door is called preheating zone. Hot gases rises upwards from the combustion and reducing zone gives off heat to the charge before passing out of the furnace. Thus, the charge is preheated before descending downwards. As I told, preheated zone, the flue gases will lose us the temperature and charge will loses the temperature and rise upward. The charge will gains the temperature or preheating and then descends downwards. So this is in this session, the furnaces are finished. So I'm going to stop the class here.